I really like your energy. Okay,
Just excited.
I heard Alex Zanardi loves you.
Oh,
And so, I really like your energy. So I'm excited to see you make all this happen.
So do you think you would want to go into the 500?
Yeah, I mean, the answer is yes. Whether this is going to happen in this life of mine, I don't know. It sounds like the clock is ticking and time is almost over, but I'm certainly extremely proud of a young girl like you asking me this question, really meaning I wish I could see this happening.
So many questions come up when you think of the names Alex Zanardi and the Indy 500 together. Let's see what others have to think about Alex Zanardi's possible future here at the Indy 500. Woo!
It's time for another On the Spot. On the Spot.
So Zanardi, even before Zanardi lost his legs, after, made no difference. Zanardi's one of those guys, he's so mentally driven that he can do whatever he wants. Whether he was a lap down in an IndyCar race, he could still come back and win it. He lost his legs. He became an Olympic gold medal winner, a world champion. He raced competitively and won races, with hand controls against able-bodied people.
If anybody could do it, it's Zanardi. I mean, he's just amazing what he's accomplished, and winning in the Olympic Games. And I was so impressed by what he did in the BMW at Daytona, and I was able to spend some time with him. And really, I hadn't seen him much since his accident, so I enjoyed that. He was very kind to my son Colton, which I appreciated.
He's the most amazing person I've ever met. Alex he's a bigger than life personality, but so inspiring to many people and what he's achieved. Even with his big crash and the adversities that he's had to fight through. He's only made positives from them, and I think with what he's done with, winning Olympics to winning Ironmans and doing it a different way has been unbelievable. And we've seen, just in previous years when he's come back to the Daytona 24 Hour and what he's achieved there, I think it'd be really cool. I'm a huge fan of Alex Zanardi, and will go down as one of my greatest heroes.
I think the great thing about Alex is the example he leaves to people who have been hurt, whether in combat and war or just accidents. And I think if anything, his example is that, your life's not over. If you have an issue, your life's not over. You can still do whatever you want to do. And, would Alex do the 500? I don't know. That's a big question. But would he be capable of doing it? No question in my mind. He would be. And it's exciting. It's been such a thrill for us to be associated with him in the BMW program. He really is an unbelievable example, for everybody about what the human spirit is able to do. So you never know.
Is it a realistic possibility in your mind?
I think it is a realistic possibility, and certainly Alex Zanardi's proven that he's as fast today as he ever was, and it's really hard to believe in all of the successes he had that he never had a chance to run at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and in the Indy 500.
I mean, he said he would if he could. I think that he totally should.
Well, I definitely think of all of the things he's done in his career, it would really cap his career to be able to say that he'd run at the Indy 500, and I know that our fans would be absolutely blown away to have him in that starting field at the beginning of the Indy 500 some year.
What are your thoughts on how IndyCar and BMW can help get an amputee driver into the Indy 500, or even Robert Wiggins? And do you think some of the same aero technology you drive could somehow assist in making that reality for either of them?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately BMW doesn't compete in the IndyCar Series, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of other people in this paddock dying to have Alex Zanardi drive for them at the Indy 500. So I think the technology is there as far as the steering wheel, and his ability to drive it. He showed at the DTM race and 24 Hours at Daytona that he can still get it done. So that's not a problem. And then also our driver, Robert Wickens, coming back from his injury in Pocono, I think you can very well see an IndyCar, driver using hand controls in the not-too-distant future.
Could you imagine Alex Zanardi and Robert Wickens in the same race?
It'd be pretty fantastic.
Well, I mean, if you look at the BMW that Alex has driven for BMW, it's very sophisticated. It's all really BMW created, and all credit to them for believing in Alex and giving him the opportunity. I'm not sure. I think there's a big difference between driving a Corvette around Indy at 100 miles an hour with hand controls versus driving around Indy at 230 miles, 240 miles an hour with hand controls. I would think it would be fabulous to see Alex there, with us in a BMW presented car.
Absolutely. I think it'd be a great thing. I think you have, obviously the technology. They're breaking new ground with the technology that they're employing now, either with Aero or with BMW, to have amputees drive. And there's no reason that once they get the technology down, there's no reason they couldn't race in the Indy 500 or any other race.
I think Aero has proven that they can accomplish things nobody would have imagined with Sam Schmidt, and giving him the opportunity to drive at over 100 miles an hour and even race on the oval, which, as you know, has happened. But whether that happens in an IndyCar or not, I don't know.
If the technology could be married into the current platform, it would be really, really cool to see him do that. Aero, like you said, has done some tremendous things for Sam Schmidt, and the ability for him to drive that Corvette. So you could take some of that technology and figure out how to get it in an IndyCar. At the same time, you got to think about the safety, right? How can we make sure that the driver's safe in that as well? It would be pretty awesome to see Alex Zanardi run the Indy 500.
You were 54 and AJ was 57. Do you think a Paralympian like him could still do it in his late 50s in this day and age?
Oh, I think when you talk about Alex Zanardi, I don't think age would be an issue. I think it would be the time that he would need to really get used to manual controls, which is a totally different situation. And with the competition the way it is today, at Indy, however, I think he could do it because, there's not a lot of braking and all of that, or, a lot of shifting. But at the same time, I think it would be a daunting thing to pursue. But at the same time, knowing Alex, I would have no doubts that he would do himself some good. He would be competitive at least midfield.
Most definitely competitive.
Zanardi can do whatever he wants, so age is not a barrier to that man, or his disability. I think for him it's not even a disability, he just gets on with it. It'd be cool to see him in the 500. I think the nature of this race, I think he could do very, very well. I'd put him in a good car, and I think there'd be some worried drivers out there because he's pretty special.
So you would consider helping him find a way to make that happen if you were able to reach out to him and get him on your team during the month of May?
Absolutely, yeah. Actually, Indy would be easier for him than a road circuit because you're not braking like you are on a road circuit. So the systems that BMW has developed, that enable him to drive a race car, I think at Indy that'd be no problem. For him it would just be about getting used to going that fast again and everything else.
Hear that, Alex? You could be in the Indy 500. Would you have him back on your team during the month of May?
Well, he knows the answer to that question. Of course, the answer is yes. There are certain people that you run into in life that you'll do anything for, and he's one of them.
Would you ever consider having Zanardi on your team during the month of May?
Absolutely. Be
Why?
Fantastic.
Why?
He's a true icon and major talent, and he can still get it done.
Do you think Alex Zanardi could possibly beat all these new kids out here?
I wouldn't put anything past Alex Zanardi. He could go to the moon if he wanted to.
I feel like he could beat all the young kids in the newer cars.
Well, you know what? He's fast, right? That's the one thing you certainly knew about Alex. It didn't matter what he was in. He was really fast, and people were really focused on how could you beat Alex Zanardi, and he's proven that no matter what he wants to do, like whether it was racing the 24-hour race this year or racing wheelchairs or racing kart cars back in the day, there wasn't anybody really any faster than Alex Zanardi, and I know that fire is still in him.
If he ever does decide to do the Indy 500, would you want to beat him out or let him win?
I'd like to beat him.
Hey Alex, I hope you see the love and support you get from the IndyCar community, and I hope this helps you make a decision to join the Indy 500. For the rest of you, make sure to smash the subscribe button, like, and share. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!